Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Gainsight, for the opportunity to talk about what we've been doing at Finastra over the last 3 or 4 years. I am so excited about this whole area of customer success, customer experience. Full disclosure, we are not a Gainsight customer, but yet. However, we feel we've done some fairly cool stuff, and so Dan wanted us to share our story. 3 questions before I start this. One, do we really think that customer success is only a post-sales activity after the customer signs the contract? We believe that customer success and experience is actually something that happens way before the signature's happened. Secondly, is customer success only the responsibility of the customer success managers? I think it's pretty clear from most of us that this is a cross-functional effort that involves lots of people across the organization. It's about organizational change just as much as it is about outcomes for the client. And thirdly, customer success and customer experience, they're often banded around as different terms. We feel that customer experience is something that has to happen on so many different levels. So it's about the digital experience, the employee experience, and indeed, of course, customer success and things that happen in this amazing community here. And before I start, just to say congratulations, of course, on being part of this amazing, amazing journey. It's such an exciting place to be right now. We strongly feel that the success of the business is very much tied to the customer, not to the product and function features, which, although are key, are only part of the equation. So, a little bit about Finastra. We were Mices. We became Finastra 3 months ago with a merger with a Canadian company called D&H. We are a $2 billion company headquartered in London. We have over 10,000 or 9,000 customers, and pretty much every major bank around the world uses Finastra in some way. What drove us to look at the customer experience and how we improve it? First thing, we looked at the fact that over 80% of new revenue is done with existing clients, 80% of net new deals. 90% client retention rate, which we feel is quite low. And of course, Finastra offers solutions both on the cloud and on-premise. And we also worked out that 3 years ago, we were losing $100 million of net new revenue in a year because of lack of referenceable clients. And we knew that because we asked our customers or prospects that didn't choose Finastra at the time, what was the primary reason? And they said, well, you couldn't provide a reference to prove that this stuff actually works. This problem is largely fixed. I'm going to talk about that in a little while. But just for your benefit, that was a really good business driver and a business case to help put more momentum behind this whole story of customer experience. The first thing we did then was we put together a client-centric mission, vision, and strategy. And I'm sure that this is nothing new to anyone in this room, but it was important to frame what we were doing and why. And the vision was to create customers for life. For any Brits in the audience, we talk about Dogs for Life, which is Battersea Dogs Home. It's got nothing to do with that. This is really about giving a very sticky, consistent experience that really drives change over time and business outcomes for our clients. And in order to do that, we said, okay, we need to make sure that across the customer journey, we're giving value to the customer every stage. So we came up with something called the Finastra Experience, which comprises 3 core components. One, it's our custom engagement program. What is it we can offer our customers programmatically, consistently, that will help improve the relationship, make the customer feel that we're really working that relationship as hard as possible? Secondly, it's our health index, which I'm aware that in Gainsight we have this fantastic facility to look at health scores and actions associated with that. We built our own in-house through some work that we did around Salesforce. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. And then finally, our survey. 3 components: engagement, health, and survey. We feel these are critical to moving the needle in the organization to help people rally around creating that good customer experience. This is quite a busy slide, but I want to show you in one slide all the things that we do inside our organization to offer value to our clients. And this affects every function across the company. It's called Finastra Connect. There are 10 programs that we can offer for free to every single customer around the world. And what that basically means is that we can count how many value-added touch points each customer has. I'll give you an example. We have executive briefings around the world in every country. Do we have executive people in every single key account around the world attending these? That's one point. Are we doing some industry leadership, as in case studies, videos, press releases with our clients? Are we promoting the successes of our customers in the media? That's another point. Do we do a business case analysis before the customer buys and after the customer buys? Again, that's another point. Then we go on to things like things that are beneficial to our technology and support people within our customer base. We have things like our user groups, which I know are well known. We make sure that we have a user group for every key product in all the major regions, and we, again, work the muscle as hard as possible to get the customers attending these sessions. What we found is that the more programs that the customers adopt and use, the more likely that their health scores will go up and their satisfaction scores go up. So there's a correlation between engagement, health, and satisfaction. On the business management side, we have a number of activities that we run. We have our customer advisory boards that happen once a year. We have our partner innovation centers through the likes of Deloitte and Accenture and IBM, where our customers can come and visit and see our technology, not just as we would offer it, but also with the integration with partner systems. And then finally, we have something called the Systems Advisory Group, which is a bit like a customer success organization on steroids. Their job is to go out to specific customers and give them almost the Rolls-Royce treatment to check that all these programs have been used, to check that the customer's getting value from the software, and to make sure that they really understand and train up their users in that organization. Other things that we offer are things like our peer-to-peer program, where we connect a customer A with a customer B, and we facilitate the dialogue between two customers to make sure that if, for example, a customer needs a reference to buy a new solution, or they want to check that their use case is going well, we'd connect the dots. And finally, our engineering collaboration program. This is where our customers will effectively beta test our products, or they may even share test cases to make sure that the quality of software that is delivered to them is of good standard. What has this led to in 3 years? We're pretty proud of this. Now it's over 100 customers have publicly endorsed Finastra as a brand. So we are up there with Barclays, HSBC, some of the names there, Commonwealth Bank of Australia. This is so powerful. You get the customer story out across the organization, it changes the culture of your company. People believe that you can move from being a very product-centric company to a customer-centric one. And that's where the growth is. We all know that customer centricity is hard. It takes time. It's not something that will happen overnight. It takes lots of people believing, and the customer voice cuts through all the internal noise and all the cross-functional dialogue and so on. This is the most compelling way to drive change in your organization. We've also supported $200 million of closed deals through referenceable clients, which means customer A will say quite positively that this company is a company worth doing business with. And the most compelling references are those that are real. They're not based on, hey, some guy that's been paid to say good stuff. It's ones that have authenticity. They talk about the stuff that is good and maybe some of the areas for improvement as well. But on balance, the customer feels that this is the company to do business with. We've also created a number of internal reference slides, which are very good for sales because, the best salespeople are our customers. They will take a slide into their customer meeting and just plonk it on the desk. There you go. This is the value that you can get working with this company. The next phase is the customer health index that we put together. So what we did, we spoke to over 50 customers around the world, our customer advisory boards, using the programs that I've just talked about in the previous slide. And we said to them, okay, what does the journey look like typically? We did a few journey mapping workshops with the sticky notes and discussions and so on. But in the end, what we realized was that why don't we create one single customer journey, which, as far as we know, is a bit more consistent and a bit more easy to measure across the journey. And we looked at everything from the first phase of awareness all the way to recommendation, which is the reference piece. Now, this is why for us, customer success starts before the customers even sign the check. Because really, it's about expectation setting. If the customer's been told that the product will do X, but actually it delivers Y, the job of the customer success team is going to be a lot harder. So we feel customer success is something that happens throughout the life cycle, and it goes around in a loop. So for example, if you're selling to a big bank, you may have one penetration in one area, but actually the other bit is where you want to grow, then that whole awareness phase starts again. So we mapped it into 10 stages, keep it simple. And then what we did was we described that stage from a client perspective. What does it mean? So for example, proof of solution be, can company help me grow business or save costs? Partner, which strategic technical advisors and partners does this customer want to work with? Because all the big banks have these Deloittes, IBMs, Accentures, and so on. And then what we did was we assigned a principal functional owner to each stage. Now, obviously, other functions have an impact on those scores, but there has to be someone on the hook that is really owning that problem. So in the case of awareness, it's marketing. In the case of partner, it's the partner organization. In case of purchase, it's sales. Then what we did was we weighted each of those stages according to a percentage scale and defined 3 KPIs which we felt we could consistently measure for every single customer. This took a year to produce because when you speak to the head of support, they will say, oh, we don't want to measure that because, that's too hard to prove. And actually, a lot of the time is because they want to measure stuff that they are gold on. So this starts affecting people's pay, salary, what they're doing. And really, this is changing the culture to be aligning people's activities and KPIs around the customer view. This is the customer health index that we produced. The second phase, the post-sales bit, which I would argue is probably more the area that Gainsight and perhaps yourselves are looking at primarily, and I'm sure you look at the other bits too in some way. But this is really, again, looking at how well the product is implemented, how well supported, how well trained are the users, and so on. And again, each of the stages are weighted according to the percentage score. Now, how do we make sure people actually use it? Obviously, that's the next question. We've embedded this customer health index, which is real-time internal data. It's not voice of the customer. It's our own internal big data metrics that we have in the CRM and a couple of other systems. And we produced a dashboard, which is on the front page of the account plan, which we have as a tool called Revigy. It plugs into Salesforce.com. And when the sales guys and girls are reviewed on their performance by their head of region, they see this. This is the first thing they see. Now, we are still on a journey at Finastra to change the culture of sales to become coin-operated, selling in the quarter, to taking a longer-term view. And to be honest, that is the bane of many organizations' lives, that we want to do 12-month, 18-month value with our customers, but the salespeople are still paid by the quarter. I don't get it. Every salesperson should be paid 12 months, 24 months, surely. Anyway, that's another story. But so this is what we've embedded in the customer account, in the account planning of sales. And what it means is that salespeople are immediately on the spot. Hey, folks, you've got a health score of this. Have you spoken to your support person to fix that problem? What about marketing? Have you actually got people to the events or not? How many demos have we done in the last 3 months? This is an indication of the health of the relationship, which is real time. And we benchmark it every quarter to see if there's performance. The other thing is, and slightly provocative, I hear NPS all the time. Sorry, I know that we have had Bain, and it's a great system, but we've been slightly provocative by saying NPS as a old, the previous first version is outdated. You ask one question every year in practice, likelihood to recommend. This works maybe for consumers, for businesses, you're dealing with tens, hundreds of people, an ecosystem of people changing all the time. Really? Is that really the right measure to have every year? So what we've done is we've tuned it slightly and we've said we'll align our customer survey to the 10 phases of the life cycle. And we asked them 10 questions. Rate us 0 to 10 in those 10 areas and give us a final comments. And what we then do is compare the internal scores from the health index with the external voice of the customer data. And you get this view of, okay, what does the internal metric say? What does the customer actually feel? And to be honest, one of the other metrics that we're putting in place is salespeople have to make sure we get 5 responses per client at least, because 1 data point per customer, surely that is not representative of the overall health of that client relationship. Okay, so other bit. So you've heard about our engagement, our health, and our survey, 3 core components. But wrapping around that is, of course, the employee experience. And we've made customer proof points one of our top cultural values. I get the fact that people put cultural value statements up all the time. Is it going to stick? Well, this is sticking. Every exec's got it on there. They are paid now according to these different metrics we've talked about. We're really, through the positive route, telling the stories about how individuals, sometimes 4 or 5 steps removed, are impacting the customer experience. I'll give you an example. We've got a developer out in Pune or somewhere else. They develop a line of code that suddenly has a massive ripple effect on a customer in Brazil. They didn't even know about it. So what we've been doing is telling the stories of individuals that have done something that, just a little change in their work has had a downstream effect on the customer. We have to make people believe that the customer is really at the center of what this organization is about. And we've certainly gone on that journey at Finastra. So, another thing. I love this story. I absolutely love it. We've got a customer in Bangladesh, IFIC. Bangladesh is obviously not the richest, economically speaking, country. But now the challenge that they have is to try and get mobile banking really off the ground. And they've made some massive progress with us as an organization. But we brought our customer in to talk to our development team and talk about how their work has impacted their, people's lives in Bangladesh. So again, this is a nice way of saying, look, the work that you're doing in the development team and the support team, the services team, impacts the customer. Here's what they're doing. Our employees love hearing from our customers. So, again, please, I would strongly encourage everyone here, if you're not doing already, use the customer voice at all times. It's very powerful. Okay, so I think I'm almost done, but again, just going back to the 3 questions at the start, is customer success purely a post-sales activity? We believe no. We believe it's throughout the life cycle, and it goes round, and it keeps going round. It's something that is persistent. It happens all the time. Secondly, is it only the responsibility of the customer success team? No. It's got to be a cross-functional activity. And I think the temptation is to devalue the efforts of our salespeople and say sales, they're only interested in selling, they just walk away, they don't have a heart for this stuff. I'm not convinced about that. The best salespeople I've ever seen, by far, are those that really care about the customer. And they're people that can animate the relationship and the conversation with the client. They can bring people in from all over the place to help grow the relationship with the customer. So I think it relates back to Nick's presentation earlier. It's not just about this organization, this you group of people here. It's about everyone in the organization, and you really showing the passion for the customer, and that really coming across to other functions in the organization. They have to feel it as well. But again, let sales also have a role here, because they're key to this. And then finally, is customer success the only thing that we need to worry about? I would argue, and we would argue, that it's broader than even customer success. It's customer experience, it's employee experience, it's digital experience. Customers really, truly at the heart of everything we do. And by the way, the organization believing it. This is what will help the company grow. How many companies haven't grown because they've been so focused on delivering products, functions, features, and the customer's like about 3,000 years away from what's actually in the roadmap. Just get the thing to work really well, make the customer happy, make them love you as an organization, and they will buy a lot more stuff from you. It's as simple as that. So, thank you. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Gainsight. By the way, absolutely unbelievable. 2 years ago, they didn't have an office here in London, and there were still 400 people coming to the event. The marketing folks often struggle getting 5 people to events, so obviously something's working here. Thank you, and I hope that was useful.